Hello, students. So, today I'm going to teach you a new poem. The name of the poem is When Great Trees Fall. So, this is a poem by renowned American poet Maya Angelou. So, Maya Angelou, she was a feminist and she was a civil rights activist, and she had written some seven autobiographies and also quite a number of poems, including When the Caged Bird Sings and I Still Rise. These are some of her remarkable poems. So, When Great Trees Fall, this poem she had written at the time of her very close friend James Baldwin's death. So, it was written in his memory, it was written as a tribute to him. And in fact, she also read this poem out uh, at the time of his funeral. So this poem has a very deep personal connection, a deep emotional connection uh, to a person who was a very dear friend. So we are going to do this poem When Great Trees Fall. So great trees here, it is used in a metaphorical sense. So trees actually mean great people. So she's trying to compare what happens when great trees fall with what happens when great people die. So, uh, with the help of this image of trees, she is trying to give us an idea about what happens when great people leave this world, when they pass away, what kind of an impact it has on the world or on the society or on the people. How do they react? So this idea is being conveyed with the help of the image of the trees. So trees has been used in a metaphorical sense. So let us start the poem. When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder, lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. So, in the very opening stanza, the poet has created the image of a forest which is dense with trees, and she is, thinking about a hypothetical situation where what would happen when the great trees fall. So, when great trees fall, rocks on distant hill shudders. So, great trees, great in terms of their size, gigantic trees, huge trees, tall trees standing there for so many years. So, when they fall, when they uh, come crashing down on the ground, what happens in the surroundings? Rocks on distant hill shudders. So when the great tree falls, the nearby areas they experience shaking, they experience a jolt and a tremor, just like it happens when an earthquake strikes. The ground starts shaking. And the shaking is felt not just in the nearby places, but also in the distant regions. You know, the mountains, the Rocky Mountains standing far away, even those Rocky Mountains, they shake, they feel the jolt, they feel the tremor. Lions hunker down in tall grasses. So, what happens to the animals living in the forest? What happens to the powerful animals? For example, the lion. The lion is the king of the jungle. So, it's very powerful. It's very ferocious and aggressive and brave. You know. So, lion is scared of none. But even this lion, which is the symbol of strength, which is the symbol of power, courage, okay, even the lion is intimidated. Even the lion is terrified. It is scared. You know, uh, it it panics And what does it do? It immediately hunkers down. That means it bends down low and it sits down in a crouching position. Okay? And it hides behind the tall grasses because the lion feels that, something is just not right. So, in order to ensure its safety, he hides behind the tall grasses. Okay? And even elephants lumber after safety. And so far as the herd of elephants are concerned, who might be peacefully, you know, uh, roaming around in the forest, they gather and um, they leave in search of safer places, in search of safer locations in the forest. So all these animals, uh, they react with fear. They react with terror. Okay, they are very much scared. So this is what when great trees fall. So the impact is uh, tremendous. The impact is enormous. Even the mighty mountains, even the powerful animals in the forest, they are affected. They panic and they become nervous. So this is the impact of the falling of great trees in the forest. Let us move to the next stanza. When trees fall in forest, small things recoil into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. So long we have been talking about the more powerful animals, the large animals. What about the small things? Small things mean small creatures living in the forest, like the birds or the squirrels. What happens to them? Obviously, uh, they are far more scared than the elephant or the lion, right? They recoil into silence. They uh, recoil. That means they almost shut down. They become numb with silence. They are so paralyzed. They are paralyzed with fear, in fact. They're gripped with a sense of fear and shock, and they almost freeze. They become motionless. Their senses eroded beyond fear. It appears like their senses have stopped working all of a sudden. Senses might mean the sense of sight, the sense of speech, the sense of touch. They become mute all of a sudden. That means they are uh, shell shocked. They are in a state of shock. So they experience something much more than fear. So the idea is that when a great tree falls, all the creatures in the forest, from the tiny insects to the large animals like the elephants, they are affected. When great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, sterile. We breathe briefly, our eyes briefly, see with a hurtful clarity, our memories suddenly sharpened. So now, so long, the poet was talking about what happens in the world of nature. Now, the poet is shifting her focus to what happens in the world of human beings when a great person dies. Great souls means great people. How do we define great people? Great people are the ones who are known for their noble deeds, who are known for their noble actions. Okay, so that is the criteria of deciding greatness. You become great by virtue of your character, by virtue of your actions. So when the idea of great men comes to your mind. You are immediately reminded about so many great people who walked on this earth. Okay, so they might even be ordinary people, remember, but they are great because of their deeds, because of their actions, because of what they have done to the society, because of how they have influenced so many people, you know, uh, in a positive way. So, when great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, sterile. So, when great people take leave, they die, all of a sudden you become aware of a change in your surroundings. It doesn't feel the same anymore. You feel like the atmosphere have suddenly become light. Why? Because these people have left this world and their absence makes the atmosphere feel light and, you know, uh, lifeless. You sense some kind of a vacuum, some kind of a void around you. Rare. The air feels rare. Rare means something which is less in quantity. So, the meaning of rare here is, you feel like you are choking, you are suffocating, you are not at ease, you feel very, very uncomfortable. Okay, because uh, there is, you're haunted by strange feelings. You cannot define those feelings. It's almost like you feel claustrophobic, you feel suffocated, and you feel choked as if you're gasping for air. There is a grief sitting heavy on your hearts, okay, which makes breathing difficult. Sterile. Sterile means barren. All of a sudden, this world loses its charm. It feels barren, it feels lifeless, it feels dead. Okay, with them, the beauty of life itself disappears. Okay, we breathe briefly, our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. We breathe briefly. Why do we breathe briefly? Why is our breath brief? It's because our hearts are heavy with sorrow, our hearts are heavy with grief. So our breaths are shallow, they are brief, they are not deep. Our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. And now we can see things in a clearer perspective. We have a clearer vision of things. Means we become aware of the bitter truths. Okay, and these truths are very, very painful, hurtful. What is the truth here? The truth here is that these people are never going to come back. They have left us once and for all. Our memory suddenly sharpened. Examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, promised walks never taken. So our memory is suddenly sharpened. Means when these people die, our memory becomes very sharp. We can exactly remember. We remember very clearly, very accurately the moments that we shared with them. It is as if our memory is activated all of a sudden. And there's a rush of memories in our mind. We remember everything so clearly. Examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid. So, what does our memory do? It reminds us examines, and it reminds us that we never said kind words to them. Kind words here means words of appreciation, words of gratitude, words of love, words of respect. Okay, so there might have been so many things we could have told them that might have brought a smile on their faces, that might have uplifted their souls, that might have cheered them up. But we never said those things for whatever reasons. Those words remained buried in our heart. And now it is too late, right? Because these people are gone. Even if we want, there is no point saying anything because they are not going to hear anyways. Promised walks never taken. So we promised going on walks with them. Now, going on walks with them means spending quality time with them, giving them our time. So we never fulfill these promises. Of course, we made a lot of commitments, we made a lot of promises, but those promises were never kept. We failed them, we disappointed them. Maybe we were too busy with our lives. Maybe we were so much caught up with our own responsibilities. We never had the time for them. Or maybe we did not think it necessary. So the fact of the matter is that we took our relationship with them very casually. We took them for granted. And that is why we never gave them enough time, enough attention that they actually deserved. Okay, let us now proceed to the next stanza. Great souls die, and our reality bound to them takes leave of us. Our souls, dependent upon their nurture, now shrink, wizened. Our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. So, when great souls die, when great people die, our reality bound to them takes leave of us. So, their death marks the end of our lives with them. So, when they were alive, we had so much memories with them, right? We spent time with them. So, those were the realities. But now, since they are no more, uh, the realities, it has vanished, right? Our reality bound to them takes leave of us. They are no more here. And everything that we shared with them, it comes to an end. Our souls, dependent upon their nurture, now shrink wizened. So when they were alive, they nurtured our soul. Nurtured means nourished. How did they nurture our soul? By taking care of, with their love, with their warmth, with their affection. Okay, they gave us a sense of fulfillment. They gave us a sense of inner calm and peace. Okay, so their very presence gave us a sense of um, they ensured our mental and spiritual well being. We felt complete. We felt at peace. Okay? We felt, we experienced this state of blissfulness. So they took care of our mental and spiritual well being, just as a mother takes care of her baby, nurtures her, nourishes her. So that was what their impact on us. That is how they influenced our lives. Now shrink wizened, but because they are no more around, we are deprived of this nurturance, we are deprived of this nourishment. And now our souls are starved. Our souls have dried up, our souls have withered and have become wizened. Wizened means become old. So our souls have lost uh, their inner, let us say, health, inner state of well-being. Our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away. So our minds were formed by them. They were the ones who shaped our character, who built our character. They were the ones who shaped our thoughts, who shaped our ideas, who guided us. They were like guides and mentors and our philosophers. Okay? So they shaped our minds in that sense and informed by their radiance. Radiance means they were enlightened souls. They were illuminated souls. They were wise. They had wisdom. They had knowledge. So they guided us. They shared this knowledge with us. They enlightened us with their knowledge. So we benefited a lot from them. They not just formed our minds, they also kept our minds informed. They helped us to become mature human beings with their wisdom, with their knowledge. Now, in their absence, what has happened? Our minds are falling away. That means our minds are collapsing. Our minds are disintegrating. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. We are not so much maddened. Maddened means to go mad, to go crazy, to lose one's sanity. Of course, when someone great dies, it's very likely that we go mad with grief and sorrow, right? Uh, but more than that, that is a natural reaction if the person is very close to you. But more than that, what we experience uh, a state of hopelessness. You know, we almost go into depression. And this very idea is contained in these lines: unutterable ignorance of dark, cold caves. Cave means what? Uh, Cave is a dark place. Cave is a very cold place. So when you're living in a cave, that means you have totally isolated yourself from the outside society. You have no connection with the outside world. So when these people die, you lose interest in life and you shut yourself up. You confine yourself. You lock yourself up in your own world. And this world is very dark. This world is very uh, frustrating. Okay? Dark, cold caves. Dark represents a state of hopelessness, a state of despair. Cold represents a state of, uh, lacking warmth. Okay? So, lacking human connection. Warmth is something, the warmth of human connections. You are totally disconnected from the outside world. So, uh, you sort of sink deeper and deeper into the state of depression. Okay, you totally lock yourself up, you shut yourself down. So it is an unutterable ignorance. Ignorance means ignorance about the outside world, what is happening, because you have totally separated yourself. You have withdrawn yourself from that world. So you are ignorant of what is happening there. You are living in your own world, which is dark, which is cold, which is lonely. Okay, so this is an inexplicable or unutterable feeling. You cannot share it with anyone. And when great souls die after a period, peace blooms slowly and always irregularly. But there is still hope at the end of the tunnel. Yes, when great souls die, you suffer a lot of pain, a lot of anguish, a lot of sorrow. You go into depression. But ultimately, at long last, after a long wait, you find your peace. You become normal. You come to terms with their death. You accept it. And at that moment, you attain peace. So, peace blooms slowly. It's not that overnight, hardly a few days after their death, you are normal again. No, it takes time. Healing takes a lot of time. So, peace comes, but peace comes slowly. It takes time for you to heal. It takes time for you to forget the entire uh, tragedy that has happened. And always irregularly. It's not that uh, peace comes regularly, in the sense that you experience different kinds of emotions during this journey towards peace. Sometimes you are too sad and gloomy, and sometimes your mood improves. Again, you sink into uh, sorrow and grief, and again you recover. So it keeps, this pain, it comes in waves, it comes and goes, it comes and goes. It rises and falls, it rises and falls. It comes in a wave like pattern, your grief. Sometimes the grief is unbearable, and sometimes you forget about it for a little while. Again, it strikes, and again, you forget about it. So, this process continues. And finally, a day comes when you accept that this is the truth. You come to terms with the fact that they are no more, and you become strong enough, you heal, and you find your peace. Spaces filled with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Spaces, I was talking about the atmosphere which becomes light because of their absence. Now, those spaces start filling up with life. You have felt lifeless. You feel like you're almost dead. Your body, uh, vibration represents life. Anything that has life, it vibrates. So vibration is a sign of life. It's a sign of energy. So when uh, you find your peace, you experience that vibration once again. You feel like you are alive. You regain your lost hopes. It is as if you regain your life once again. Okay, so mentally you are dead for a while, and then when afterwards, when peace comes, once again you regain your confidence, you regain your life, you regain your lost energy. And it is a feeling which is very soothing, which is very calming, which is very relaxing. It makes you experience peace and calm. Our senses restored, never to be the same, whisper to us they existed. So our senses are once again restored. We talked about the birds whose senses had been eroded, had weakened, they had lost their capacity uh, to feel, to speak. They had become mute, they had almost freezed. So, likewise, we also have frozen with grief, with sorrow. But once again, our senses are restored. Normalcy returns. We can feel, we can we we become interested in life once again. Never to be the same, but life is never the same. Life goes on, but in their absence, life never is the same. They existed, we can be. So they existed. Now, there's a difference between existing and living. We live while they existed. We live, we are living a very mechanical life, right? Are we doing anything useful for the society? No. Have we been able to influence others, touch the lives of others? Have we been able to, uh, have a positive influence? Have done anything worthwhile to say or to claim that our lives are meaningful? No. But these people, they existed. They existed because of their actions, because of the fact that they were able to influence the people deeply. They transformed the lives of the people in a positive way. And that is why they existed. Our lives are useless because we just lived. But they existed because they made a difference to the lives of others. We can be and be better. So, uh, we can also be like them. Be and be better. So we should be inspired by them to be and be better. Means to be better versions of ourselves, to become better human beings. See, the poet has used the word be twice. Be and be means becoming like them is a continuous process. It's a never ending process. We have to keep trying and trying to be like them, for they existed, for their lives were worthily lived, for their lives were usefully lived. So we can also do the same. We can also draw inspiration from them. We can follow in their footsteps, and we can make sure that we don't just live, we also exist, right?